Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're joined here by our dear brother Joshua. We're looking at some of the incoming data from the swing states. So I want to go over Georgia very briefly. 95% of the vote is being reported. If you notice the New York Times categorization, it says very likely Republican.
Wow.
Donald Trump is leading Georgia by about 120,000 votes. So, I think the reason why they're saying is because even the major Democratic districts and cities are reporting most of their votes by this point. It's going to be very hard for Kamala Harris to close that gap.
So that'll bring Trump to, I think you said 16 votes. That'll bring him to 246.
246.
The path to victory for Kamala Harris really, really narrows significantly. You're looking here, this turns red. This is at 87%.
Can you go over, this is lean Republican right now. Trump is leading by about 170,000 votes. Is my math correct there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is actually quite a surprising. If we can go to Philadelphia, Philadelphia is a big Democratic area. It seems like a majority of the votes has been reported. Let's go over to Pittsburgh real quick. 95% of votes. So it's going to be very difficult for Kamala Harris to make up this difference at this point. Let's zoom out, please. Let's go over Michigan. Michigan is at 55%. We're kind of slow, I guess. Donald Trump is up by 196,000 votes.
Wow.
So Michigan is taking off. If we look at Wayne County, 26% of votes in, he has actually gained substantial ground.
Wow.
Wayne County won 68% Joe Biden in 2020.
Look at this, and a quarter of the votes are actually in. So these numbers actually, they have value. They are starting to take some shape,
right,
based on Rex's analysis. If you look at the 58 to 39% for sure. I think when we look at this and we look at 2016 and 2020, we can. I wouldn't say it mirrors 2016, but I am seeing shades of 2016 right here for sure.
And I think this is what a lot of people were speculating when they were looking at the polling.
Yes.
They were getting that 2016 Hillary Clinton feeling.
Yes.
So with 55, the majority of the state now counted. Now, obviously, Kamala Harris still has a path to victory here. But like you said, Macomb County, he's taking off. This was a county that he won by 54% in 2020. This was a county he won by 54%. This is a 4% increase here. Can we go over to Wayne County, to Oakland County? I'm sorry. Next, yes. So this is a county that Joe Biden won by 52%. So we see a 2% Donald Trump increase here. But the shock of Michigan right now, as these votes are coming in, is Wayne County. And if we go over back to Wayne County one more time, yes. This is a 10 so far. This is a 10% erosion from the Democratic vote in Wayne County. I do have to emphasize, this is where a lot of Dearborn and Hamtramck and Warren, which are highly densely populated Muslims, live.
And again, this is, as everyone knows, this is where Donald Trump's campaign invested a lot of time, a lot of money, and really a hands-on effort there, for sure. Which is a far cry from Kamala Harris showing her friend Ahmed the door in Oakland County. But
so we're seeing a direct reflection, regardless of who wins the state. I think at this point you cannot make the argument that Kamala is going to take off with Michigan like Joe Biden did.
Yeah, correct, without a doubt. I think as you talk, Rex, my mind keeps on going back to Georgia. Can we go back to Georgia?
Let's go back to Georgia, please.
I'm on pins and needles about what's going to happen in Georgia, because I really do think. Here, as Rex mentioned, it says very likely going red. I think, hopefully, does anyone have any tally of when the next batch is coming in? Because we're at where are we at? We're at 95%. 95%. Repeating myself a bit, if this goes red, we are looking at 246, and we're looking at pretty much a very solid path to victory for the Republican
Can we zoom out and go to Arizona very quickly?
Oh, yes, Arizona.
So Arizona is at 53% leaning Republican. Donald Trump has a very narrow lead in Arizona. by only about 13,000 votes. So this is actually a very close election. Now, 55% of votes from Phoenix have come in. Maricopa County, this is the county that Biden won, I believe, in 2020.
That is correct. He did win in
And
2020.
the Kamala Harris has a very narrow lead. I wish I had the numbers on what this
I was
looked like
thinking,
in 2020
I was just thinking the same
at
thing.
this point.
The next election, let's have these.
But I mean, if we zoom out, the path to victory for Kamala Harris keeps getting narrower.
Yeah, for sure.
Pennsylvania is slipping. Michigan, let's go back one more time with a quick overlook, has 56% of the votes. Michigan, Trump is almost 200,000 votes ahead, with 56% of the votes having come in.
I think regardless of the way things go tonight, the message here is that our votes matter.
Yes.
Yes, we're finding our voice.
Yes.
That is the message here.
Agreed. And I think this speaks to if the Democratic Party really wants to be the party of representation, then they better start representing people's interests.
Fair enough.
Because so far, what they've been representing is oligarchs and the military-industrial complex. And I don't think this is just a Muslim thing, although I think we're playing a very significant role in this erosion. I don't think this is just a Gaza thing, even though that's playing a significant role in the erosion. This is dissatisfaction with Democratic Party policy nationwide. I think the Democrats have failed to address some of the key needs of people.
Well, one nuance there is the whole duopoly, whether it's Republican or Democrat, we're finding very little difference. The only difference is that under this particular watch, a genocide is taking place.
Right.
And that is the real, that's the main difference of the two parties, I would say, in terms of the duopoly.
Yeah.
So
if we can hover over Wayne County one more time, if we can go by that map again, right here, which says, yep, right here. Yes. So if we can go over Wayne County one more time, I'm curious to see if new results have come in from Wayne County. A little further, nope, a little further down. This is what, about 210,000 votes counted in Wayne County. Wayne County produced 900,000 voters at the time of Joe Biden. It seems on track with a 25% tally, right? So we're expecting probably another 900,000 votes, 8 to 900,000 votes from Wayne County, if I'm doing the math correctly. The Democrats were really hoping for a high turnout here. And not a high turnout as what they saw in 2020. I think what they were hoping for here was new voters.
Interesting, if you wind the clock back to 2016, I remember going by the polling place, because at the time I was living downtown Detroit. Mm-hmm. I went by the polling place and I remember how light it was. There was no lines. Mm-hmm. And I think I said to my better half, I said, it's light at the polling. That is not a good sign.
Right.
Now I don't live downtown anymore, but it would be interesting to see what the actual traffic flow was downtown today. Is anyone having
Right. So I did hear things. I wasn't on the ground in downtown. I was primarily in the heavy Muslim areas like Dearborn and Hamtramck, where I saw a very significant turnout.
Yes.
But in Detroit, I was hearing that the turnout was actually relatively low on election day.
That doesn't surprise me. So 2012, heavy flow through the polling stations in downtown Detroit. Mm-hmm. 2016, very light. 2020, very heavy traffic. And from what you're reporting is light traffic at the polling stations this time. That's very telling. That is very, very telling. But again, in terms of the speculation, I want to say Michigan matters, but really it's that Georgia, coming back to it, it's waiting for that Georgia announcement to come in, because that Georgia announcement comes in and we're living in a different world. We're living in a different world.
By the way, I emphasized this at the beginning. I want to reemphasize, Georgia is the Stacey Abrams factor. This is where the Democratic Party invested in heavy infrastructure to turn the state blue. I believe they failed in 2020 with a very small margin, but it seems like that gap has grown significantly. Can we please go to Georgia one more time? And then Joshua, I will let you go because, so one more time, let's look over Georgia, please. So yes, it's still at a very likely Republican. We see Trump leading by 120,000 votes, with 95% of the vote reporting.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know what
That's-
CNN is waiting for, and I don't know what, but this
Well-
seems like the New York Times has kind of called it by saying very likely
Very likely.
Republican.
So, as I take my leave, I say this is the one to watch.
Right.
Rex, thank you for everything.
Thank you
and
so
everyone's
much,
doing.
Joshua.
I mean,
thank
it's
you.
just so good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Good to see you too.
And tomorrow we get together. We start
Yes,
fighting
we do.
again
Yes, we do.
for peace.
Regardless of
Okay.
who wins.
Take care now.
Take care,
Cheers.
Joshua.
Bye-bye.
All right. So thank you so much, Joshua. As Joshua heads out, we're going to bring the conversation back to the Muslim factor. How significant has it been this election? Looking at the numbers, Omar, if you can take us back to Michigan, numbers 58% of the vote. Donald Trump keeps gaining ground. He is almost at an even 200,000 votes in Michigan. Let's look at Wayne County, please. Let's see if a new batch has come in. So Wayne County seems to be still taking its time as usual. Now we expect this to narrow. We expect this to go down much more in Michigan. But the question is, does Kamala Harris have the votes needed in Wayne County and the turnout that the Democrats so heavily invested in to replace the Muslim vote in Wayne County to defeat Donald Trump? And I think this is a call to action. I think the Democrats, and he just live surpassed the 200,000 mark right now.
The answer is no. The gap is 40,000 times 3 is not 200.
So if this trend persists, as Omar, our data guy, is saying, if this trend persists, she is not going to win Michigan. Now, Michigan is projected leaning Republican by New York Times.
Let's not forget that
Macomb County is heavily going Donald Trump. Let's look at Oakland County. Right over, right, the next county right over. Right there. Oakland County, I mean, 93% of the vote. There's not much more for Kamala there. There's three. This is a very close thing, by the way. Kamala has a lead by 71,000 votes. This is extremely close. The Muslim vote, 59% of the votes. Trump is up in Michigan by 213,000 votes. He is taking a substantial lead at this point. Can Kamala make up that ground? The Muslim vote could have easily made this up for her. I think this election would have looked much closer to the Democrats if the Muslim vote was taken into account. Will their strategy of replacing that voting bloc that voted 80% for Joe Biden work? That remains to be seen. The trend so far is not looking favorable for the Democrats. And I think they have started ringing the alarm bells in multiple states. Look, this is the power of voting. This is a wake-up call to our community that if you think you did not have a direct impact in this, you are wrong. If you think that you going to that ballot box having a direct impact on this, you are wrong. Whatever the conversation is tomorrow morning, I will have to re-emphasize this point. Michigan Muslims and American Muslims have been at the front lines of this election, and they have been the margin of victory and the margin of difference. We will likely continue to see a gap getting closer and closer, but I have to re-emphasize, if we want to look, I don't know if we have Jill Stein votes up in Michigan. I would like to know what the amount of votes that went to Jill Stein is. They're not counting it right now. Yeah, if we can click on that, maybe that'll expand it. Oh, so we have a projection. We have a very key projection from CNN. CNN projects that Trump is winning Georgia. This is massive. This is big news. There's 175,000 Muslims in Georgia. 175,000. Right now, Trump has a lead of 120,000. 175,000 Muslim voters. Where did the Democratic Party go wrong? What was their miscalculation? I think the answer, as this night develops, is becoming clearer and clearer. Their miscalculation was by directly ignoring the Muslim vote. Their miscalculation was by throwing Ahmed Ghanem out of an event. Their miscalculation was Kamala Harris saying, If you want Trump to win, say so. Otherwise, I'm speaking. Whichever way Michigan goes, I think Muslims have made their sentiment very clear. This is not an endorsement of Trump. We are not endorsing Trump as a community through this vote. But we are making it very clear that genocide is a red line for any candidate. And now I'm going to be joined by our dear brother Masood Hussein, who is a very active ground organizer in Michigan, in the battleground of Michigan, who has been working very closely with this data and this infrastructure. So Omar, can we go back to Michigan and look at how the situation is developing?
Just to let you know two things. Some of the city results are out. Two of them, the important results are Hamtramck and Dearborn. Hamtramck, Harris is leading, definitely. Leading. 46% vote.
Okay.
Jill Stein got 8% and Trump got 42%. It's a huge shift.
It's a massive increase in Hamtramck.
It's a massive increase in Hamtramck.
Hamtramck went comfortably blue last time.
Exactly. So Trump got 42% in Hamtramck this year. Another one is Dearborn, where Trump won election day and early voting both. So Trump got both of these 45%. Jill Stein got more vote than Kamala Harris in both of them.
So these are key, densely populated Muslim districts.
I could not find the data from Melvindale and Dearborn Heights yet. But yes, of course, the night is still young, as Ahmed Ghanim said. So, yeah.
So that's critical data that Masood just provided us here. Dearborn went overwhelmingly overwhelmingly
88%.
Biden. 88%
Last time.
of the Muslims in Dearborn voted Joe Biden in 2020.
Yeah.
Now, I was always speaking to the silent Trump vote within the Muslim community. I think we are seeing, based off of Masood's numbers, the silent Trump vote manifesting not as an endorsement, as a protest, as a red line that we will not endorse genocide. Masood, we've been looking at, so let's look at Wayne County real quick because a new batch of votes came in. I'm curious to see where it's from. So, okay, Wayne County still taking its time. Let's look at the Senate races.
It will take whole night.
Let's talk.
Let's see, Genesee or
So this is
Ingham
Macomb.
County,
This is
if
Macomb.
possible.
I mean, Macomb is comfortably Trump at this point. 43% of the vote counted. That trend is likely to
and he's
continue in
almost
Macomb.
what percent? For 58.
58%.
Yep.
That is a 4% increase from
Can we
last
see
time.
Genesee quickly? Yeah.
Genesee
Trump.
County, Donald Trump is leading.
But it's slight.
But it's a very slight, a couple hundred votes.
What about
very
Ingham
clearly.
County?
Ingham County. Yes. Kamala Harris is leading in Ingham County.
Yeah, that's a big
That's
margin.
Lansing, and I think
East
this is
Lansing,
expected. This is a comfortable Democratic
Obviously.
stronghold. But
By the way, in the meantime, we should also look at the Senate
so
race.
that's exactly where I'm going next. Let's look at the Senate races,
races.
and how this is developing, because usually we
The
see
president
trends.
race will follow.
Right, and we also see trends of so first of all, Republicans have taken the Senate. This is the projection. The Republicans have won the U.S. Senate. The U.S. House is still up for grabs. We are still waiting to see what this is going to look like in Michigan. I believe, as we currently speak, Mike Rogers is ahead of Alyssa Slotkin by about 200,000 votes, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, the percentage is almost same with what
So
Harris and Trump has.
this is reflecting the direct pattern that we are seeing with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. How are some of these down ballot races looking like?
Yeah, no idea. But we have to look. Some of them I tried to look at this time. The Supreme Court one, the court one, I think Democrats won 3 out of 5.
Right.
That's what I last update
Yes.
I heard about.
So the court did go to the Democrats in Michigan.
Court to Democrats,
So
yes.
there's very clearly like a kind of almost like a split strategy that's taking place in Michigan right now with the voting.
In the meantime, looks like Omar has not created his account. So that's why we could not see the Senate race.
But it seemed, from what I'm hearing, the trend seems to be mirroring
the president
the
race.
presidential
race.
election.
In the meantime, can we just see Georgia if there was a call, if the race was called or not?
The Georgia was officially called by CNN.
Oh, okay.
CNN projected that Donald Trump won Georgia, and at this point, even if you look at the
Very likely,
projection,
yeah.
it's over. Georgia is over.
And what about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania? Let's look. We have now 89% of the vote. Donald Trump is leading by almost 170,000 votes,
And that's 3%.
and this is
That's also leading.
89% of the voting reported in Philadelphia County.
Do you
the main
remember how
Democratic
much?
stronghold.
What was the lead last time Biden got?
Biden, I believe, got a very comfortable lead in Pennsylvania by a couple 100,000 at least.
Oh, it was 100,000. Okay.
I am not sure off the top of my head, but this is also leaning Republican right now.
Trump won, I believe, the first time by 80,000 votes.
He did, yes. And let's look at
This time, what is
Pittsburgh.
the gap? Just let us
This is
see.
so right now the gap is 160
60 plus, yeah, that's
plus
huge.
thousand.
Yep.
90% of the vote reporting. I don't know if Kamala Harris has a path to victory in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And this election might actually slip before Michigan is even counted.
So
Donald
one
Trump
of
is
the
at
race has been
246.
called. One of the race has been called, so this has to be.
This is Georgia.
This is Georgia.
This is Georgia. 16
So
electoral
if he
votes.
wins Pennsylvania, he's the winner tonight.
So we not quite yet, but he will likely win.
How
Yes.
many?
So if we zoom out,
How many seats are there in Pennsylvania?
we will have to wait for either Nevada or Arizona to fully go.
Or Wisconsin. Or
Alaska
Wisconsin.
will also likely go Trump.
That will be Trump. Yeah.
Wisconsin. Let's look at Wisconsin, please. Can we look
Can
at
we look at the
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, please?
Wisconsin, Donald
electoral
Trump is up by 120,000 votes,
that's a lot of-
118,000 votes.
That's a huge margin.
84% of the voting is. What? Why are we?
How's Jill Stein doing there? Is there
So
a-
this is what I would like to see. If we can see maybe if the Associated Press page is up, we want to see what the Green Party
the
factor,
Green Party factor
has
played.
been, because we know that our community
Yep.
clearly is showing erosion, and Masood quoted numbers with Dearborn and Hamtramck showing massive erosion to Donald Trump. We want to see what Jill Stein is doing, like in Michigan. Jill Stein, with 57% of the voting reported. By the way, Trump is up by 210,000 votes.
That's massive.
Jill Stein has amassed close to 19,000 votes in Michigan. So we expect that number to go anywhere close to 30 to 40,000, I would say, by the end of the night, which is a significant amount.
Yep.
I would actually attribute this there you go, you're 19,000 right
19,000
now. I would attribute this almost entirely to the Muslim factor, because you saw a lot of desertion from within the liberal supporters of the Green Party, who thought it urgent to vote for Kamala Harris in this tight race.
But at the same time, think about this. If the Muslims did not vote Jill Stein in a huge number, that means they all voted Donald Trump
Yes.
a huge number.
So we
So Muslims
actually,
are the reason actually Trump is saying this victory.
I agree. I think we will see a good 30 to 40,000, maybe even 50,000 votes
Yeah.
behind Jill Stein.
But that was her own vote last time. It was 60,000.
But I think this is what I'm speaking to. I think this time, this vote is not coming from progressive non-Muslim supporters, even though that factor is still there, and I'm not denying it. I think the Muslims in major numbers did rally behind this vote. So if we see that, I would comfortably say that she probably got 70 to 80% of her support from Muslims, which is a direct reflection of our numbers and our turnout. Our turnout in this election has looked extremely good so far. And it looks like it's, it looks like it's...
she did better
it's-
than Harris in Dearborn.
She did.
She did
Yeah.
more than Harris.
So
Harris
20
got like 22% vote. She got like 25% vote.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
So Wayne County has still the same results,
Yep.
58 to 39. We're probably going to take a while to see results from Wayne County.
Yeah, Wayne County.
What do you? So Masood, you come from the Bangladeshi. You're
No,
an
I'm
Indian,
coming from India.
You're Indian, but from
A Bengali-speaking family.
right?
With the
But you are
India.
very well connected to
Connected
the
with the
Bangladeshi
Bengali,
community.
yes.
So. What was the sentiment within that community? Because this is one of the communities
Yes.
that the Democrats targeted heavily in Michigan.
Yes. I saw the community was quite divided, to be honest with you. Not just the Bangladeshi in Hamtramck, but the Bangladeshis over in Warren, Sterling Heights, and Troy area. And if you look carefully, Donald Trump made an effort to connect with the Bangladeshis. He did a rally or a personal event at Warren. I did not see that much push from the Democrat. At least, even from the campaign. Like lots of Bangladeshis who had questioned, it was like more like a fear tactics. Okay, you don't want to vote us, then Trump will come. Instead of answering, look, majority of the Bengalis here are coming from middle class family, and middle class family has one mentality: if you have locked my house, you have the key. How come someone else has the key of my house? So they asked the right guy the right question. And look,
So this is reflecting. Can we hover over Wayne County? I mean, we are very interested in those Wayne County votes. 23%. I mean, there's about 200 some thousand votes that have voted, but there's at least another 600,000 votes coming out of Wayne County. So this county alone could swing the election in Michigan, right?
absolutely. Michigan can go to either party. We cannot predict because Wayne County itself can change the fate.
Right.
But what I'm more interested is like checking two of the other states, Pennsylvania or Wisconsin,
So can we zoom out again and go to Pennsylvania and Wisconsin?
if there has been any change.
Now, CNN is reporting that Harris campaign will not speak tonight. They will speak tomorrow. Things are not looking
But
good.
at least she's listening.
Yeah, no,
remember-
if you want Trump to win, say so. Otherwise, she'll speak tomorrow.
No,
You
but
know,
do you
so
remember? I
This
listen.
this is Pennsylvania right now. Donald Trump is up by 220,000 votes, with 90% of the voting counted.
Yeah.
78% of Philadelphia County has been counted.
And what's the lead on
It
Philadelphia?
has gone massively to Kamala Harris. But the question here is,
How much vote is remaining in the Philadelphia?
so 87. So there's about 22% of the
22%
vote.
vote.
Is that enough to make up the difference?
Could be.
It could be. It could be.
could be.
But it seems like
Pittsburgh is still. Can we see Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is almost
That's
close
also
to being
heavily
done.
Democrat.
I think in terms of. So Pittsburgh, 94% of the votes are counted.
Okay. So she only.
There's not much more ground to make up in Pittsburgh.
That's true.
Um,
So only she's looking from Philadelphia.
right.
That's the only pathway she can make if she can.
Do you think we're going to have a prediction tonight of who's going to win the White House?
I think so. I think so.
We
One of them. I think Donald Trump is already 246. So
246.
246.
Yes.
So to win 270, he
needs
has
one-
he has to. If he just win Pennsylvania, he's okay.
if he wins Pennsylvania, that puts him at 265 votes.
65.
265.
You are right.
So he needs 5, but there's still. Can we?
Looks
go
like
back
I have
the
to go
math?
to elementary school now again, just to see basic math.
If we can go back to. By the way, I thought you were like a data engineer too.
Of course I am, but not at 1 a.m.
So okay, it seems like this is crashing. Time and again.
Omar, you should pay, man.
I think it's so Wisconsin, 119,000 vote lead in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Leaning Republican, 85% of the vote in.
But does Harris has a pathway here
60.
in this
I
state?
think there's still a pathway in Wisconsin that if Trump wins Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, that's it.
So
That's
Milwaukee,
election night right there.
Harris is leading by
Yeah,
almost
I mean,
100,000.
this is the most comfortable Democratic areas are Milwaukee, Madison. Have not heard of Eau Claire before.
Okay, so Dane
but-
County, she has no more vote to gain from.
Yeah, so,
So
Milwaukee.
only pathway is the Milwaukee.
So, but
Can we click on the Milwaukee and just see how much vote is?
by the way, very soon we will see Nevada's polls closing,
Yes.
and the vote count will be coming out of there. That is also another state where Muslims have significantly mobilized against Vice President Harris, and the Muslim vote is going to be a crucial determining factor of how this election is going to go. This is the theme of tonight, I think. The theme of tonight is you cannot underestimate the Muslim vote. Could Kamala Harris, by the way, Donald Trump is leading the popular vote. We still haven't seen California fully counted, but Donald Trump is currently leading the popular vote, which I believe would be the first time in the three
Is it
times that-
overall or is it just the
No,
Wisconsin?
it's not. It's overall.
Overall, yeah,
He's
64.
leading. He's leading the popular vote by
Last time, I
four
believe.
point five, 4.6 million. We're clearly not mathematicians, so bear with us.
Yeah. Also at 1 a.m.
Yeah. So
It's
I mean,
like
this is-
3.8%. That's huge.
this is also an unprecedented thing because in 2020 he lost, obviously,
the popular vote,
and he also just lost the election. In 2016 he won the election, but he lost the popular vote.
Absolutely.
So this would actually be a clear indicator that he's taking the electoral and the popular vote. That still remains to be seen. But
In the meantime, can we just see the Michigan other races, the Senate and the Congress?
yeah, you'd have to go back to AP for that
Yep.
because Omar's account is
Frozen.
not paid. So Maryland, U.S. Senate, we see Florida, Ohio. Let's see Michigan.
Go down, U.S. Senate races. So Michigan. Wait, hold on here. Michigan. Michigan.
Oh, right here. Rogers is up by 5 points.
5 points. Wow. Can you click on here, Omar, just to see the details?
Yeah. So this is
This is a
exactly what
mirror
we
image
talked
of
about.
the president race. Yep.
This is exactly what we talked about. This is mirroring the Douglas Marsh Green Party has actually received more votes than
More
Jill
vote than
Stein.
Jill Stein. That's surprising.
I
Yeah.
want to talk about this because I was speaking to the fact that the Muslims backed the Green Party
Yes.
and the progressives and the leftists deserted the Green Party. I think you see that reflected here, actually.
And this vote is more than Jill Stein, actually.
Yes, so I think more progressives likely opted to vote for Douglas Marsh in the senatorial election, but they were not willing to take the chance with the presidential election. I mean, I know our community, I certainly believe that Muslims contributed a significant amount to this as well,
Yep.
but it's a very interesting trend that this is actually more than Jill Stein's total vote in Michigan. Can we see back to the so can we see Jill Stein's vote in Michigan?
It would be. You can go to the live one also.
No, results. Yeah, results are good. So results.
You want to see Michigan or you want to see?
I want to see Jill Stein's total now in Michigan. So it seems that they've clearly taken the Senate at this point. North Carolina, Florida, yeah,
Michigan.
Michigan. So Jill Stein has
19,000.
still not cracked 20,000 in Michigan. This is 60% of the voting
But
reported.
the Senate candidate has got
Donald-
26,000.
Yes. So this is the interesting dynamic. Donald Trump is up by 220,000 votes. So can we go and see if Wayne County has come up with new batches? At this point, this has become about Wayne County. Still
the
nothing
same.
from Wayne
Nothing
County.
from Wayne County.
Something has to be done about Wayne County because I mean this is ridiculous. This is election after election. There's a lot to be said about the election infrastructure in Wayne County that we need to address. A lot of our brothers and sisters from the African American Muslim community vote in Wayne County and Detroit. Their needs need to be met with election infrastructure. We need to ensure that this. I mean, so I want to take a little bit of a closer look at Jill Stein's voter breakdown. Wayne County, she's received 2,300 votes, right?
That's majorly coming from Hamtramck and Dearborn.
Right. So here, Washtenaw County, 2,300 votes.
Ann Arbor,
Oakland County, this is the most, actually.
almost 6,000.
We have seen almost 6,000 from Oakland County. What do you think that is?
It could be part of Troy. It could be part of Rochester Hills, Bloomfield, West Bloomfield.
So this
Those
is
regions.
So I believe this is also a lot of the white collar Muslim vote,
Muslim votes, yes.
which was more hesitant to break rank with the Democratic Party, but also more hesitant
to vote
to
Trump
vote
also.
Trump. I believe this is a lot of the Muslim vote concentrated on Jill Stein
Yeah,
as well.
let's see in some of the red counties how
So
much
Macomb,
vote.
she's gotten 16.
Not bad. Sterling Heights is
1,600.
there. Warren
Yep.
is there.
So Macomb County, 43% reporting Donald Trump is leading substantially. This is
Yeah,
a
don't
county.
forget there is a significant Muslim population in Warren.
Yes, there is. So Warren is in Wayne County, though. I
Warren
have to
is Wayne
emphasize.
County.
Yeah. Warren
Sterling Heights is in Wayne County.
Wayne County still has no vote. I really wonder if this trend is going to sustain in Wayne County or not. So this is turning out to be a very interesting election.
Yeah. Can we see Genesee, Ingham, how Jill Stein is doing there?
So Genesee County, that's Milan County. There are definitely no votes for
No
Stein
votes
there.
for Stein there.
709,
Genesee, that's
759.
pretty low
That's
considering
very
Flint
low.
is there.
Jill Stein, Kent
She
County.
is performing better in Kent County,
Which is Grand Rapids.
which is Grand Rapids,
right.
yeah.
So, I mean, this is interesting to have to kind of go over this analysis after the election and see what the sentiment is. This is interesting because numbers in polling,
Kalamazoo, how much? 228, yeah. That's quite low.
numbers in polling were reporting that Muslims were going to vote en masse for Jill Stein.
But it turned out that they are voting more for Trump.
It seems
It looks like
that's the
Trump
preliminary
connected to them in the
result.
ground.
It seems like that's the preliminary result.
Do you think the conference or the event with Imam helped it?
I think the narrative definitely shifted after it. I think one of the arguments that we've heard a lot about our imams discussed, and whether you agree with the stance that they took or not regarding endorsing Donald Trump, I think one thing needs to be emphasized, and I want to make following 9/11.
Yes.
Now,
And both the parties
optics-
also encouraged it.
right, both the parties, that has to be
Yes.
emphasized.
Yes.
The optics of the bad guy in a thobe and a turban
In a mainstream political event.
going up with the guy who the right wing loves the most. I don't think you can argue that the PR behind that is dismantled a lot of the preconceptions
Yes.
that people, especially on the right, had about Muslims and Muslim Americans, where they saw us as alien, they saw us as outsiders. I think one of the things that we've seen is this dynamic shift where now maybe avenues for working will open with the Republican Party.
So what do you think the future is going to look like?
We know Donald Trump. We know how much of a kind of a loose cannon Donald Trump is.
Yep.
I cannot make predictions about Donald
So
Trump.
I'm not going into that factor, but we all have to understand that Muslims at this time in Michigan, if we look everywhere, Muslims have been voting Trump in a significant number.
Yes.
So definitely they have improved their political maturity.
Mm-hmm.
They have understood to give less weightage to the words and more weightage to the actions.
Yes.
This is quite evident. What do you see, or how do you see the collaboration is going to look like for the 2026 election? Because every 2 years there is election, and I
Right.
believe, when is the next governor election?
It's in the next 2 years, I believe. Yeah.
2026.
Mm-hmm. So you bring up a very interesting question because, well, I think the better question to ask is, what are both parties going to look like after tonight?
Exactly.
Because Donald Trump is going to be gone in 4 years, one way or another. He's either going to be gone tonight or he's going to be gone in 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Which is an open avenue for what the Republican Party is going to look like after Donald Trump. The Democratic Party has already changed. I mean, we've seen the Democratic Party embrace the neocons.
Yes.
We've seen the Democratic Party embrace Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney.
Yep.
And we've seen Kamala speak to the U.S. military being the most lethal fighting force on the planet. This is not usual Democratic rhetoric. Regardless of policy, this is not how they spoke. I think they made a very strategic calculation to go after white suburban voters. I don't think that worked out for them very well. If anything is going to carry them, it's going to be Wayne County, if it does happen. They've actually lost points in the white suburban areas.
True.
This is very clear.
But that also questions me, how is the US Congress looking?
Right.
So not just the District 13, because where you are pointing out, that's the US 13.
So right now the distribution can let's
Let's
look
look
at
at
the
MI10.
overall.
Let's look at MI10.
Let's look at the overall distribution first, real quick, if it's possible. So right now it's 184 to 155.
Yeah. But just let's look at Michigan.
Let's look at
Michigan.
Michigan's 10th district.
10th district. How is
This
John
is
James and
John James and Carl Marling.
Carl Malinga?
Let's go over the vote. So Carl Malinga is down by about 13,000 votes.
So this is, can you zoom over again? 42% of vote has been casted.
Not 13, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 42%.
Yeah, no, it's
And the gap is almost 17,000.
70,000, correct.
So that can switch anytime. That can
It
switch anytime.
can, but it depends. So this is going to be an interesting race to monitor. Can we look at Michigan's 11th district?
11th was Haley
Haley
Stevens.
Stevens.
And there was a Green Party candidate there also.
Yes, and that's what I'm interested in also looking at. Let's look. So Douglas Campbell,
9,000
votes. That's actually substantial for a Green Party
Yeah.
running on that ticket.
On the ticket.
Nick Somberg earned 40% of the vote.
I think city-wise only we can get it tomorrow morning.
I
Precinct
believe
density.
so. I believe so. A lot of this conversation is going to have to take place
In the following week, yeah.
in the morning. So we're getting the first results out of Nevada. President Trump, with 70% reporting, has a lead, a very narrow lead. Can we look at Nevada, please?
Yep. Nevada just started
Right here.
reporting.
They've already reported 70%, 75%, with Trump being in a narrow lead of
2.9%.
2.9%, which translates to about, I believe, 34,000 votes.
And none of the candidates is also okay.
None of the candidates. Let's look at the national map again. I want to see what the national trend is looking like.
So Nevada has 6 electoral vote. Okay.
So, okay. Michigan, 64% reporting. Let's look at our home state.
So that means Wayne County got some update.
So, 225,000 votes up. Donald Trump.
Can we look at Wayne County?
County. Nope. No
Which
updates.
county give the update?
No updates from Wayne County. 220,000 vote lead.
Macomb is 44.
That's actually relatively narrow still.
I think it could be the other counties.
So other counties are definitely reporting numbers.
It's just consolidating the number of Donald Trump.
Right. But at the same time, I mean, this is really in Michigan. This is really going to come down to Wayne County. The thing is, how is that trend going to look like?
Yeah. And we have to talk some of the Muslim candidates also. Like we had, just being non-partisan, but we are just talking about the Muslim candidates. From State House 54, there was Shadia Martini.
Right.
From State House 57, there was Aisha Faruqi.
Correct.
From Wayne State Board of Governor, there were Rasha Demashiki and Sami McCall. And then who else? From Canton, I believe there was Amara Ansari.
Amara Ansari for Library Board. Yes.
No, Amara Ansari for Canton Trustee.
Kenton Trustee.
Canton Trustee, and there was a write-in candidate for Ypsilanti Township.
Now we
Sadafani.
also want to look at the regents races
Yes.
at the University of Michigan and at Wayne State University, or the boards of governors.
Yeah, I think I
depending on
saw
which
Savarg. He won the race.
Varantian. So this was the Muslim student recommendation.
And he was a Republican, I believe.
He was. He's a libertarian, I believe, is how he describes himself. But he was very pro right to free speech
Yeah.
on campus, and really wanted to help the students.
Can we project the
against
Michigan
censorship.
local races somehow? Omar, you have not paid this subscription also?
So this is an interesting development because
Let's look from Detroit News.
Vice President Harris is stated that she will vote.
In the meantime,
Not she
if
will
you can
vote. She will
project-
speak tomorrow morning. President Trump is saying that he's going to speak at supporters tonight. Now, the way I see this is that the Trump campaign is confident in what their odds are looking like. They're likely running the numbers, and they're projecting that this is their night. Now, a lot of these swing states are still up for grabs, but it really is looking like this is going to be Donald Trump's night.
Yep.
And this is not going to be the night of genocide.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, but if this trend continues, the person responsible for genocide now, I'm not saying what's going to happen, I'm saying what happened. As some of our dear friends have put it, we don't look at what happened in the past, we look at what happened in the future, right? What's
The
going to
question
happen in the
remains,
future.
if Donald Trump gets this unprecedented victory, does he need Muslims for future?
Well, I think the conversation at that point moves beyond Donald Trump. I think the conversation here, there's an undeniable factor that the Muslims played a massive role in this election. I think you cannot deny that.
That's true.
Period. Whether you're in Pennsylvania or Michigan or Georgia,
Pennsylvania is now 93%.
or so let's look at Pennsylvania's. Just hover over it, please. Very likely Republican. Wow. So this means that Pennsylvania is most likely going to be won tonight by Donald Trump. This, I mean, you look at the tick here from New York Times, it is heavily Republican leaning. They have not called the race yet, but Trump gets this. He's at 265 votes.
Omar, can we just see quickly
If
there was an
Pennsylvania,
update
if Pennsylvania goes, the election goes
from the
with it.
Philly?
So Philadelphia,
89.
89%. There's not much more for Kamala to make up in any of these areas, which is why I think
Very
Pennsylvania is very likely. And do not underestimate the Muslim factor
So
in
there
Pennsylvania.
was 2 increase. Which one is that?
This is probably the split vote between Nebraska and Maine, which means Trump will go to 266, I believe.
With this win here?
Or
19.
266, which means he will need 4 more votes to win the election. I'm not making any premature predictions, but it is looking like this is going to be
interested to see which one
Donald
that
Trump's night.
So
Michigan,
he got 2 Nebraskas.
yes. So Michigan is, Donald Trump is up by 36,000 votes. So this is significant in Michigan too, because 230,000 votes. Let's see if Wayne County has updated here, because still nothing from Wayne County.
These are just small counties that is consolidating.
But to speak to the fact that it's small counties is one thing, but Joe Biden was actively in the lead in Michigan in 2020. And I'm looking at some of the people in the room and they're nodding. Please confirm with me. Joe Biden was actively in the lead in Michigan in 2020. This is not just a consolidation. This is erosion.
Yep.
The Democrats have actively lost votes in Michigan.
But did Joe Biden won any other county apart from what the Dems are winning right now?
He won Wayne, he won Oakland,
Macomb.
Washington, but it's not necessarily about him winning, Kamala winning. She's probably going to win the same counties. What amount of
I
erosion
think
did they
Macomb
suffer?
she will lose.
Well, Trump won Macomb in 2020, but he won it by a thin margin of 2 points.
2 points, yeah.
It looks like Macomb kind of went off now into, I believe, a 5 or 6 point lead for Donald Trump.
But I think 44%, so we cannot even call that. Or
So
nobody has called that.
let's look at Macomb's numbers one more time. This is also where Aisha Faruqi ran, I believe. Can we get results for Aisha and Shadia? Is that
Aisha,
possible?
Shadia, and Rasha, if possible.
So let's just look at the national then. It seems like we will not be able to get those results. Let's look at Michigan's
I think if we are talking about national,
Arizona. So let's just go
Rex,
over.
If we are talking about national, why don't we call our national crush Ahmed Ghanim to continue
Yes.
instead of me? Brother Riaz made a very good request that when I end, let me end with a Bengali quote, just to show my Bengali identity.
I thought you were Indian.
Of course I'm Indian, but my language is Bengali. Don't confuse nationality, ethnicity, and language. So, famous quotation from Tagore. Kothar opor kotha sajiye cholecho din raat ebar tumi thamo, which means you are putting words after words. Now it's time to stop. So I am stopping here.
So Masood is stopping, but he's essentially saying Rex is going to continue running his mouth.
Absolutely. And Ghanim will take the space now.
Brother Masoud, I think this is historic. We have 2 candidates. One is willing to go out and talk to his supporters, actually talk to the nation right now. And someone say, no, I'm not going to talk to anyone tonight. I'm going to talk tomorrow.
Yes.
I think this alone sends a message, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like she's going to keep talking anymore.
It's really, this is historic. It looks like Cam is starting to get into the mood of winning, and probably he wants to go out and maybe will claim
Victory tonight, yeah.
Early, we'll see. And the other Cam does not even they closed even the possibility of speaking tonight,
Right.
which
is actually unprecedented. This
Yes.
doesn't usually happen.
yes,
Both campaigns tend to speak to their supporters in a very close election.
Yeah.
To project confidence that, this is still anyone's game. The Democrats refusing to do this tonight is an indicator that they're panicking,
Yeah.
at the very least.
I think I was on a lot of forums now for the Democratic Party, and people are not believing what's happening. They thought there would be a blue wave, but it looks like it's coming from everywhere, that they are losing everywhere as a Democratic Party. And in this moment, I think for a Muslim, it's very hard for me as a Muslim to, let this moment sink, because right now the democratic establishment has failed us as Muslims, has failed the United States, and has failed us. We've been voicing our concerns for a year now. Don't be dissociated from your base. Listen to your base. Listen to your people. We send them the message through uncommitted campaign. 100,000 votes, and they have done nothing.
750,000 national.
Yes, and when you see that, when you see get those hundreds of thousands of votes from your own base, not from outside, from your own base, and do nothing at all, did not even move an inch, that tells you something. And then after that, you come after all what you've done, and you're feeling that you can win, and you win easily. We kept telling them during the genocide, during the campaign, told them this is not right. This is not a good strategy what you are doing right now. Talk to the Muslims, talk to the Arab. She got Arab leaders flying. James Zogby was flying from DC to Dearborn to endorse her. And she did not even have the decency to put this endorsement on her website. Imagine that. At the same time, Trump was sitting with people that nobody knows about him, like regular imams, not famous imams, and putting them on the stage and on the podium.
Or the mayor of a small town of
Yes.
15, 20,000 people.
Exactly. But you have someone like James Zogby, which he invested all his life in the Democratic Party, flying from one state to another, and you don't even meet with him, and you don't even take this endorsement and put it on the website and talk about it. That shows how they look at the Arabs, and they look at the Muslims, and they look at the minorities. This is like,
They felt entitled to your vote.
Yeah.
They felt as if they had ownership of your vote.
And obviously they are wrong.
Yes.
Because regardless of, even if she comes out and wins tomorrow, even if they declared her the winner tonight, she still, and not her, I don't think.
This is the
democratic
establishment, the machine behind it, yes.
They should understand how bad they are doing in areas should be very, very solid blue.
By the way, Iowa, this is a joke, because they were projecting Iowa was going to flip. Which
Exactly.
is ludicrous.
Yes.
You're focusing on irrelevant battles, while Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, and Arizona all slipped from your hands. Why? Exactly to the fact that you're speaking.
So I don't know why is this like those people that were advising her. We told them all the speeches are wrong. Even when she thought she's talking to the hearts and minds of the Arabs and Muslim community, she was doing all the wrong moves. Like what happened in Gaza when the leader of Hamas was killed. She said that should be like the turning point. How is that even a turning point? And what happened with killing tens of thousands? You're talking to someone, once you want to gain the hearts and mind of a group, and tell them that losing tens of thousands of your children and your women is not a turning point, but the killing of Hamas leader is the turning point. How is that even? I don't know. To be honest with you, I thought when you have $1 billion to run a campaign, you will hire the best minds in the country. But it looks like she was surrounded by a bunch of idiots.
She was in a bubble.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you live in a bubble.
Yes.
When all you talk about is this is the end of democracy and, so and so and so. and you neglect the interest of the very people who have put you in power time
Yeah.
and again.
And they will come back, as they do all the time, to blame the voters, to blame millions and millions of Americans that did not vote for them, that they are the cause. They are retarded. They are racist. They don't know what's good for them. And instead of reaching out to this base and understanding what's good for them, this party really needs a lot of work. A lot of work. It needs an intervention.
Yes, it does.
Because what is happening, and even when Biden won, it was not even easy. It was not even a landslide as it should be. When you're running against someone, you think he's like Donald Trump. Like you can say he's like the enemy of the democracy as they
Yeah,
try
I mean,
to
they literally
portray
called
them.
him Hitler this
Yes,
year. So it's,
they try, and they do the same thing every single time, and they fail. Like for the first time, they released the Hollywood tape, and they thought, okay, we're fine, we're safe because of Hollywood tape. 2 weeks before the election, this time they released the leak that's calling him like praising Hitler, and they think, okay, that will take care of it. And they don't understand that it's not just about attacking your enemy, it's about building your base and working with your base.
Right.
Trump had an investment. You hate Trump, you like Trump, that's aside from the point. He had an investment in Oakland County, in with the Muslim community, in Wayne, in Dearborn, in Hamtramck, and he's gaining from his investment now. What stopped Harris from visiting Hamtramck? This is the question. What stopped Harris from, she was in Michigan like 3 times a week, 3 days every week. Can't she just dedicate half an hour to go and say, hey, people of Hamtramck, I want to come and give you a visit. Hey, people of Dearborn, I'm going to go and eat in a restaurant in Dearborn. But she doesn't want to do that because her advisors told her, those people don't count. Don't worry about them. They either will
find
follow
new
us.
voters.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll find a new voter. But where are the new voters? We cannot find those new voters.
the turnout seems relatively the same, by the way.
And the leak from Slotkin that happened when she said we are underwater, actually Slotkin was performing better than Vice President Harris.
Right.
But when the ship sinks, it takes everyone with her.
So this is actually a good
She's-
point because Harris has taken down
Yes.
the chances of the party with her.
Yes.
This is not on us.
Yes.
This
It
is on
isn't
them.
them. When they were projected by CNN that they will control the Senate, and probably it looks like Slotkin is going to lose her seat too.
Yeah, CNN, I believe, projected that they are losing the Senate. So we see.
So that's not. This is the effect of not just running a bad campaign as the president of the United States, but also destroying the whole. And the problem is when people ask me about this, you and me, Rex, we are the Muslims. We are the weakest link in all these minorities. I think a lot of people will be safe when Trump is president. And if there is any danger, is there anything against the freedoms, it will be against someone like me with name Ahmed and thick accent, right? We will pay for this. We are paying for their failure. And I don't know for how long we will be paying for their failure. And at the same time, they think, why didn't you vote for us? Well, we voted for you, but you failed us. And you failed our community. And you failed all the minorities that were actually at certain time, they are working with you. And I don't know what can be, because I'm really frustrated right now. I'm really frustrated right now. Because now we are in this uncharted territory, which Republican will not even just have the presidency, they will have the presidency and they will control the Senate too.
And likely the House.
Yes. So they have they have everything.
3 branches.
They can do everything right now. And what we are going to do is this. What we are going to do, because they will have unchecked power right now, right?
Look, I think, by the way, regardless of how this Republican presidency is going to look like, you cannot blame the voters.
Yes.
The Democratic Party is the direct opponent of the Republican Party. If they wanted to defeat the Republican Party tonight, they should have taken into account what we had to say.
Yes. They should. That they did not listen.
So I regardless of what Trump does and what he comes to do, And you're right, we're going to be on the front lines of that. Most Muslims were not naive of this fact. They consciously made the decision to abandon Kamala Harris, right?
Yes.
We know the repercussions, the potential repercussions. But what does that say about how horribly the treatment from the infrastructure of the Democratic Party was towards us and towards other minorities, by the way, as well?
Yes.
Because the Latino vote has also been breaking from the Democratic Party in recent trends.
And now they are projecting that Michigan is leaning Republican right now.
Right. And
So,
there's very clearly 241,000 vote
That's
lead.
almost 70% of the votes.
70% of the votes. Wayne County still lagging behind. But at this point, you ask the question: if this trend persists, can she really make up that difference?
It's very hard. It's not just Michigan right now, because we were talking about Michigan. It's other states where she's losing. And again, from the beginning, the Democratic Party would like you. Again, I told people that the Democratic Party sometimes is like a cult. You cannot even question anything. When we questioned at the beginning, when Harris was basically she was appointed, why did we lack a process when we have someone goes through primary? We know when she ran before in the primary, she got 1%.
She got less than that.
Yeah, she got less than 1%, which is fine. Maybe when she runs again, she gets more. But why you are a Democratic Party? You cannot just where is the voice? This is ignoring the hopes and dreams of the base on everything, on big level, high levels like that, and small levels. High levels like choosing who will be the nominee. Trump was dealing with courts, was dealing with a lot of things, and he ran through the primary and he won his primaries. So you cannot say you just like
He was popularly elected to represent his party.
Yes.
You cannot say the same thing about Kamala Harris.
No, I mean, so this is from the beginning. That's what I'm saying. The structure of for the democracy, the structure of the Democratic Party, that
By the way,
needs.
I'll sorry to interrupt. I'll speak locally to what happened with Howeida Araf.
Yes.
And the local Democratic Party. This is voting mechanism publicly.
Yes.
This is the same party that is
Yes.
telling you Donald Trump is a threat to democracy.
Yes.
Where is the Democratic Party?
Yes, exactly. And even when people demanded accountability and demanded transparency, okay, maybe we lost, but can you explain to us why we lost? And I was there when just the lady came out and said, "You lost, bye, go and leave." And it felt like, and again and again and again, you make your base feel uncomfortable in their safe house when you are voting for the Democratic Party and you are part of the Democratic Party. When you are inside the Democratic establishment, you should feel safe. You should feel that you're accepted. You should feel, even if you're wrong, some people will try to talk to you and some people will try to work with you. But again, it's not just one time, two times, three times. For the past, I think, few years, the Democratic Party is not really listening to the base. And Trump, I think one of the strengths of Trump, that he represents the base. When you talk to anyone that really, I'm not even don't talk about even the people that just started voting for Trump this cycle, but I'm talking about someone that voted for Trump for the past 5 years or so. They see Trump and they see someone that represents their dreams and they represent what they're looking for and the vision. Talking about so they go out, and this is why Trump has a real grassroots movement. You don't say whatever you want about Trump, but if you have people dedicated in your party that will go out and print posters, and you go on the highway, if you go out the highway and you go out out like 1 hour away from the city, you find people like in their cornfields, have erected this big signs for Trump. They paid like $500 from their own pockets to do it. That's what's called grassroots. He is motivating people to work and move for them. When it comes to Harris, their message is, I'm not Trump. Vote for me or deal with Trump. And this is not going to work. When they brought Harris as the first African-American lady, and they wanted to energize the base, the African American base, and the Muslim base, and the minority base. I told them when I was volunteering for Obama, we never talked about the other candidate. We talked about Obama,
vision, the dream.
Obama, the hope, and how he's bringing hope. So we were everyone that was, volunteered for the campaign, they liked the candidate. Now with Harris, the message is fear from Trump. And this really has to change.
And they say that it's always better to stand for something, not against something.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party platform over the past 2 elections has been to stand against something. And that something has been Donald Trump.
Yes.
They've created this boogeyman who they centered their entire efforts behind. And when that collapses, the infrastructure collapses with it.
Yes.
This is a problem. This is not how you invest in a sustainable movement.
And New York Times now is calling Pennsylvania.
Very likely. So meaning Pennsylvania is gone.
So he won.
That puts Trump at 265 electoral votes.
Yes.
If we zoom out real quick, let's keep Michigan out of the equation. Let's look at Nevada, right? Nevada, he's leading. This is enough to put him over the line. Right here.
And this
Let's
is why he's comfortable. He would go out to give a speech.
Key race. We're seeing a key race alert.
Yes.
Let's look.
So he's leading Wisconsin.
He's leading Wisconsin by 120,000 votes.
Leading Arizona.
Arizona, 100. No, I'm sorry.
16,000
votes.
Yes.
This is a very close one.
Yes.
But at this point, he's comfortable. He's
Yes.
comfortable. He needs one other state to win.
Yes.
This is Nevada. Nevada right now, he's
38,
up
almost
40,000 votes, which
Yes.
is consistent.
That is
with
71%.
71%, right?
Votes, so yeah.
So, I mean, there is a path to victory here,
Yeah.
but it seems like it's getting narrower and narrower for Kamala Harris. And I'm sure that they're sitting behind the desk there in the war room of the Republican Party, and they've actively made the decision that our numbers look good. We should speak.
So I think maybe we'll hear about the.
So we see Michigan here, 70% of the votes reporting.
Ooh.
He is up by 247,000 votes.
Yeah, still in the margin.
Let's go to Wayne County. I don't think any votes have reported from here yet. Still, please hover over.
It's still in the margin of the Muslim vote.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And this is so important for our Muslim.
Yes.
For each state, like in Georgia, in Michigan, they're still in the margin of the Muslim vote.
Yes.
So we can safely say that the Muslim vote can actually make the president win this election or lose this election.
Yes.
And this is why we keep saying our vote is crucial. And even if the Democratic Party does not think that, and even the very smart advisors for Harris think that they can win the election without the Muslim vote, I think that reality proved them wrong. Reality proved them wrong.
I agree. And let's look at some of the numbers. Let's look over at Macomb County, if we may. Macomb County is, the erosion that happened here alone so far is insane. You look at Oakland County. Let's move over to Oakland County. Oakland County, again, there's nothing she can get here anymore. Mm-hmm. This is done. Race is closed here. Wayne County, this is really what the Democrats are banking on right now. Mm-hmm. If this trend continues, and I would say even if Biden's trend continues, what he had in 2020 where he received 68, this is 58 currently, when he received 68% of the vote in Wayne County, I think even if that trend presents itself today, she doesn't have a path to win.
And that can you show us the shift from 2020?
Yes.
There is a shift from 2020 right here.
So Detroit, erosion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 4.3 points more Republican in Oakland County. Let's look at here. This is Livingston County, more Republican. I wish we had some data.
So the shift, this red. So all this red.
Let's zoom out and look at this shift nationwide, actually, because that we're looking at this state by state, but we want to speak to the movement as well.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, this is
wow. That alone is very telling.
This is a massive
If
failure.
this is not a red wave, I don't know what red wave is.
This is literally
It is a red wave. Definitely, it's a red wave. And they were talking in two years ago. The Republican came and they said it will be a red wave, and they failed to have a
Yes.
red wave in 2022.
Yes.
But I guess they are coming now.
Yeah.
So what do you
And
think? What happened? You think?
Well, I think they've been investing.
Okay.
It's exactly what you said. That they look. The Republican Party is Donald Trump right now. Like you said, Donald Trump, hate him or love him, is a grassroots movement. Donald Trump represents the feelings of the Republican Party in general. Democrats are hoping that Trump was enough of a boogeyman to scare Republicans away too.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to have been the case. It seems that the dissatisfaction with the late administration of Joe Biden, coupled with all the bad policy decisions that have been enacted in foreign policy or domestic policy, right? Coupled with blatant ignoring
Yeah.
of the Democratic Party of the minority voice, predominantly the Muslim voice.
But look, even in areas like New York.
I mean, Minnesota,
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
Where is the look? Minnesota is actually, it's likely going to go Democrat, but the shift that has happened is massive. And we spoke to some of our brothers and sisters from Minnesota. The Muslim community there and the Somali community there came out in open endorsement of Donald Trump, quoting infrastructure failures, lack of accountability, lack of investment in the community. The theme here seems to be the same. This is not just a Muslim sentiment at this point, even though we are very deterred. This is a nationwide sentiment, which is what we've been saying, that Muslims have really been representing what the nation has been feeling.
Yes.
And this is a wake-up call. If this doesn't look like a red wave, this is a
It
wake-up
is
call.
definitely a red wave, even in areas like New York and
We
Vermont
saw New
and-
Jersey come within 100,000
yes,
votes.
Yes, and definitely there is, that's because even nobody expected that it will be. It's not close.
No.
Like when he wins, it's not going to be close.
If this is the trend that persists,
It's not gonna be
the
close.
election
They
is
thought it
gone.
would be
And
close.
let's look at Nevada, right?
It will be,
Nevada,
yeah.
We are seeing active, so 1.5 points in White Pine County. Let's look here at some of the other counties in Nevada.
Yeah.
Churchill County, Humboldt, Pershing. These are, I mean,
Yes, if this trend continues, I think we are heading toward a landslide.
yes.
A landslide win for Donald Trump, and this is why he's ready to go out. He cannot
speak
wait,
tonight.
and he speaks out, and he's very close getting it. And the trend is in working for his definitely benefit. So I thought that this might be like one of this, races that we're gonna wait for 2 or 3 days to decide the results, but it looks like it doesn't look that way so far.
I think we're gonna find out.
I think we're not gonna
soon.
sleep tonight till we know
but
who
I-
will be
yep.
the next president of the United States.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll know very very soon. But yeah,
I
it's
think,
and it
so.
says
He's about
soon
to address.
it will
his,
be address
yeah.
the campaign. Yeah, and that would be. This is really historic. What's happening right now? This is really historic. In just few hours, everything is changing big time. And again, and that's also put us back to what all the polls and all the analysis that happened before, all that, it looks like this is not really,
No,
it's not accurate,
this
isn't
is
it?
2016.
It's not, yeah.
Actually,
it's-
worse. It looks like it's
yeah.
gonna be worse.
All
so
this,
far.
all this, because all the talking heads and stuff like that on
Right.
CNN, they let us understand that this will be that Trump will be defeated, or it will be very very close. But
Doesn't
it's
look
not.
like it.
It's not close.
And
So
there was-
either their polls are not right, or it's
There's something to be said about polling
Yeah.
being extremely inaccurate because they were herding, meaning polls were looking at each other and copying from one another.
Exactly.
essentially. So that the data infrastructure. I mean, we had this conversation internally.
Yes.
With some of our own Muslim
yes,
nationwide data. We told them you're heavily over reliant on democratic data.
yes,
You have no idea how our community is actually. There was Democratic consultants who came to us. You were there and said, "Michigan is gone. Forget about it. You're gonna
Exactly.
lose by a wide margin."
yeah.
This does not look
Remember
like
when
it.
we had this phone call and they told us, "Forget Michigan is already gone."
I mean, this exposes a
Yeah.
severe flaw
Yeah.
in the data infrastructure.
It is.
right.
It is.
So
And if this kind of people that's like someone that told us the Michigan is gone are her advisors,
then that's a bubble.
then that's why
She lost.
she's really in not,
At this
she's
point,
not in touch with reality.
yeah. At this point, I don't know why. So look at that. I mean, that's 238,000 votes still.
Yes.
Donald Trump, that gap doesn't seem to be narrowing by much. Wayne County still hasn't come in, so that has to be reported. But let's look at Pennsylvania.
I don't think Wayne County will change that much.
Yeah, I don't think there's a path for it to anywhere
Yeah.
either. But I think it's a good time for us to take a break.
Yes, I think
And,
so. And if we will see if Trump
But
said,
he's almost up 200,000 votes.
yeah, it's very likely. Very likely.
Yeah.
So if Trump says something interesting,
We
we
will be
will
back.
come back. If they agree that they will wait for tomorrow, probably maybe we can come
Tomorrow.
live tomorrow. And thank you, everyone. It's after 1 p.m. right now, 1 a.m. right now, and people has to work tomorrow. But I don't think anyone will be able to sleep till we
Yes.
see. I don't want to wake up on, who's the president. I wanna know.
We're finding
first.
out tonight. Inshallah.
Thank you very much for you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Stay.